Oh my gosh, students, thank you for coming back. After that last video and the trouble I ran into and having to do a few things twice, I thought maybe for sure you would have given up and not even bothered. But anyway, welcome back. Let's finish activity 155, specifically with the creation of the mallet. The mallet head must be right here, 1 3/4 in diameter by 3 inches long. Let's look ahead. They give you a chance to draw a mallet head, and if you'd like to do that on your own paper, you may. But let's look at what they've created. They start by creating a profile of 1/2 of the mallet head, and here you see what it looks like. They do have some dimensions, and if you zoom in really close, if you look, we zoom in really close, you can see these numbers are kind of on here. It's 3 inches this way. It says 0.875, which 0.875 happens to be half of 1.75. So you don't have to do a whole lot of math. You just have to look at the pictures and zoom in really close. But let's look at drawing this shape. So in Inventor, whoops, let's close that. I'm going to create a new part. I'm still in my Pegboard project. It's a new part. And I'm going to go ahead and create a sketch on the XY plane. Now once again, I'm way too lazy to draw a bunch of lines, so I'm going to draw a rectangle that is close to 3 inches tall. So I'm going to zoom out. Close to 3 inches tall. Whoa! Somewhere in this neighborhood. And I'm going to go ahead and dimension that height. It should be 3. And remember that other number, this distance, is supposed to be half of 1.75. So I can type in 1.75 divided by 2, and it'll do the math for me. Now let's look at their shape. They have a couple of arcs here, and I'm going to tell you right now, students, I don't like to draw arcs. I find them difficult and challenging. I would much rather draw a circle and just place the circle here and place the circle here, and then I'll dimension so that they're both the same size. Let's make them 0.5, and I'll just say that, bam. Okay, but I also need to locate it, so I need to go from center point to edge, and we'll say 0.5, and I need to locate this one to here. Now there are a number of different sketching tools that you can use to modify and trick up your mallet. We do need to trim away this part of the circle, so I'm going to use the trim tool to click on here and this little circle or the little line in the middle, here and here. Okay, so we have a shape that now resembles in fact, let me delete the dimensions so you can see the shape a little bit better. Okay, I need the dimensions, so I'm going to put them back, but I wanted you to see the shape a little bit better. Alright. You can do some other things if you want to round some corners off, but I'll show you that after we're done with this part. So let's go ahead and finish the sketch and zoom out. Now, the difference here is that we're not going to extrude our profile because that'll look silly. That doesn't look like our mallet. The mallet will be revolved. And we do that by clicking on Revolve. So right up here, instead of extrude, no. Yes, we do Revolve. It automatically chooses the profile because it's the only one there, and we have to choose the axis. Well, we want this back edge. And then say OK. Now, it may look a little basic. Let me tumble this over a little bit. And I don't like all the hard corners, so let me introduce you to a command called fillet. You'll see it right here. And you have the option of giving it a radius and then clicking on edges. Now, I'm not going to change the radius. I just want to look and see what it does. And I can click on all of these. And when I'm done, I just click the green check mark. And now it's nice and rounded over. It looks much more attractive. Remember, I can always go back to the sketch. Click here and go to my sketch. If I don't like, maybe I think these are too big, I can make them 0.17 or 0.18. 0.18. Okay, so you can modify things after the fact also. Say OK. And it updates our shape, makes it a little nicer. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'm not done with it yet, but I'm going to go ahead and save it so I don't forget. This will be the mallet head. And what we need to do next is create a hole that goes in it for the handle. Okay, so we have to create that hole right there. See it? See it? See it? To do that, I have to create an offset sketch plane. What? A sketch plane that's not one of the sketch planes that we already have. So let's look at that. Let's read this first. It tells us to save it. Okay, so it tells us right here to open or expand the origin folder in the model browser and then left click on the YZ plane. Okay. Well, let's do that. So in here I'm going to open or expand this. Find the YZ plane and click on it. Left click on it. Then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click on this little drop down arrow and I'm going to say tangent to surface parallel to plane. And then I click on this round surface. That's it. I now have a sketch plane or a work plane that I can choose as a sketch plane. So let's look at that. 2D sketch, choose that plane. I'm ready to put a hole right here. So I'm going to use a point and grab that center point right there. I don't even have to dimension it because it's locked on that center point. So I can say finish sketch and do hole. Now let's pay attention here because they have some notes that we have to follow. So let's scroll down. Look here, the specifications for this hole are 0.875 inch drill depth, 0.625 inch tap depth, and then 5/8 hole size. Alright, so here's the deal. Screws have standards, and we call those the ANSI standards. And tap depth is how deep the screw threads go, and they don't usually go as deep as the hole. So here's what we do. We're going to look for these same words on this picture. And you see how they have them pictured here. So in here, I'm going to go up here. Whoops. Why didn't it switch? There it goes. So over here, I'm going to click on this button for tapped hole. Give it a second. ANSI Unified. Size was 0.625. Right? Okay. Let's double check that. Yeah. 5/8 is 0.625 students. The tap depth, which is this first number here, was 0.625 also. And then the hole depth was 0.875. I'm going to double check that. Yeah, hole depth is 0.875, tap depth 0.65. And the diameter of the hole is 0.65. Alright, so we say OK, and we get a hole with lovely little threads. And it's just a virtual representation of threads. We didn't really cut threads into the part. Now, you know how I feel about sketch planes or work planes. So I'm going to come over here and right click and turn that off. Save this as the mallet head. And let's move on to the mallet handle. Join me right now as I try to do this in one video. Let's see how long this video is right now. Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to stop it. You'll have to click again on another video to see the mallet handle. Thank you so much, and join me in just a few seconds.